Alright guys, big welcome to you all to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta, here with D-Boy, and we are back with another Clan Selection Volume 1 box video. So, we have talked about almost every clan from this set already. There is only one more, which I think will be next week's reveal, which is Grand Blue. So we only have the Grand Blue one left. And with that, it would be definitely very interesting to see what Grand Blue will get, because Ghosties are one of the most beautiful arts that we have in Vanguard, and her being a Ghosty leader or a Ghosty queen, we will definitely be interested to see what her skill will be all about. Alright, so today's video we will talk about Tachikaze. So you're a Tachikaze player or you're not a Tachikaze player. You would love this video because Tachikaze player, you want us to talk about the deck a little bit, or it doesn't really matter to you. Anyway, the interesting thing about this set is that every clan is getting their support in the same set, which is Volume 1 or Volume 2, so it's always nice and interesting to compare these clans to one another and also see what this set is all about. And as we have seen from the reveals that we have got, is most of the time the cards that we have got are kinda a deck that you could build by its own, except Gasteel, I would say. I would not say that you could build a deck around him. He's more of a support card, but most of these cards are a card that you could just make a complete deck around it, and it would be not that expensive. So, like Vermilion with Vermilion the Blood, like it's with no seals. I think you could say that the Angel Feather one is also a mix with the old one, but most of the time, all of these are decks that you could make without really having to get lots of the other stuff. And that's why they also added the extra reprints in the deck to make the deck playable. Same goes for Shiryuki. Yes, you do need the old Shiryuki, but pretty much you don't really need Hyuga and all of those other cards to make a strong deck. Then we come to one of the clans that actually didn't really get lots of love, which is Tachikaze. So Tachikaze before, when they had Engblader, the deck actually became very strong, and if it went first, it could kill on the first ride. Why? Because Engblader never did have the part of his skill to say that your opponent need to be at grade 3, or to say that you need a grade 3 in the soul, which means that he could go off right away, just like that. That's one of the reasons he went to chill on the ban list, and that you could only play one copy of him, but now he's unrestricted. So for the Tachikaze players, they finally had a strong VR, because when we talk about Tachikaze, actually they don't really have lots of good VR grade 3s that they could follow. So if you look at all the grade 3s that they have, the first VR, which is of course Gigarex, was interesting, but he wasn't good enough. So when they finally got something which is as good as Engblader, they were happy and they played the deck. Problem that they faced is that other players that really didn't enjoy Tachikaze, or did, doesn't really matter, they just played the deck because it was a strong deck and it could win. And we have seen big results from Tachikaze as actually being a rogue deck, but still could destroy anything in its path because it's such a strong deck, especially when it goes first. Okay, so what did Wishu do? After they took out Engblader, they gave Tachikaze Gaia Emperor. Gaia Emperor is a good card, but it's not good enough to replace two VRs, because again, Gigarex and Engblader, Gigarex was not good enough and Engblader was taken out because you only play one copy of it. So then we thought, okay, then this set could give Tachikaze something that they could use, right? So that should be fair. And then they got this card. So let's talk about his ability, let's talk about the support grade 1 and grade 2, and let's see if this is good enough for Tachikaze, at least for the Tachikaze player to still pick the clan up, because I know some Tachikaze players and they don't really play the clan anymore. So, alright. So we have Light Battle Dragon Gigannoblazer. I'm really bad at pronouncing names. But he has the ability, two abilities. The first one is continuous ability during your turn. If 3 or more new equipped gauges were put into your units this turn, all of your front row units get plus 5k. Okay, so you could give the front row extra 5k power, but when we talk about Gaia, he also has the continuous ability during your turn. All of your Regards with equipped gauges get plus 5k. If your opponent's Vanguard grade 3, they get 10k. Isn't that a little bit the same? Kind of different, but the same design. Counterblast and Assault Blast. Okay. So, second ability, enact Counterblast and Assault Blast. Draw 2 cards and call 2 cards from your hand to Rearguard. Put up to 1 card from the top of your deck face down as a equip gauge. So, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, draw 2, call 2. It's not up to 2, you just have to call 2, so you call anyway from your hand, and then you put in equip gauge. Okay, so that's all. That's just all he does. Okay. Is that good enough? Is it interesting? Is it something new? I don't know. I don't think so. The thing for me, as I said, I'm not a Tachikaze player, so I think Tachikaze players could be a little bit happy with this, but would they build a whole deck around it that is strong enough to do something? At least make it an Ancient Dragon. It's not, so you could not even play it in that. But all in all, the card is not interesting as in its design, if I say so myself, and you don't really see me that much negativity getting out of me or us crushing the meta, but it's not an interesting card. It's also not interesting to play. So Tachikaze, this will do nothing for Tachikaze. Maybe it would be a fun card to put in the deck or just play as a last result card, but if you have nothing on the field, nothing on hand, you just write it, you get Exile 2, you draw, you activate the ability, you draw 2, you call the 3 cards that you have in your hand and you just attack and blah blah blah. That's it. Like, okay, sure. When you talk about this card and you talk about Gastille, the differences in design is so huge that they really didn't put that much time and effort into making this for Tachikaze. So I don't know what's happening with Bushi and why they're doing this for Tachikaze, but I definitely don't think that it was a good effort for them. Blackmail Dragon, he is the grade 2. First thing I have to say, I really love the art. It's more cartoony and it just looks really nice. He has a auto ability on Vanguard Rearguard. When it attacks Vanguard, Counterblast 1, retire another Rearguard, draw a card, and call up to 1 of the equipped gauges from the unit that got retired. Put the top card from your deck face down on that called unit. So this is definitely an interesting card. This is a Counterblast 1, retire 1, draw 1, get a Rearguard that it was an equip gauge into the unit that retired, so you get a free call, and a good call, but you don't know, it depends on what you have as an equip gauge, but at least you draw a card and you give that new unit another equip gauge. This is definitely a very good grade 2 that they could add to every deck. As long as they could afford paying Counterblasters, this is an amazing card. So yes, finally something that we could agree on that is good. This, no. But this one, hell yeah. Look at the art, look at the skill, design is nice, it's simple, it's good, it's effective. Now we get to the Savage Shooter, which is the grade 1. This is also an amazing card. So when placed, you Soul Blast 1, you draw a card, and you call a card from your hand to Rearguard. Put the top card of your deck face down as an equip gauge for the called unit. So that's the first part, the first ability. The second ability is an act, rest this unit and put a card from your drop zone face down as an equip gauge on your Rearguard without any equip gauge. Okay, so first ability is when placed, which is amazing. Why? Because he already or she already works with the new grade 2. So by using his ability to call this to Vanguard Circle, you could use its ability to draw a card and you could still call from hand, so you get an extra attack. So with him, with a grade 2, with a Blackmail Dragon in combination with the Savage Shooter, you could actually get 2 extra attacks. And you get to draw. You draw with her and you draw with him. Although with her you have to call a card from your hand, but do you actually draw a card and call a card from your hand? Yes, you have to. It's not you may, but again, you get an extra attack, and mostly you put anything on an extra circle, it usually will hit, at least if it's not a trigger. So it's definitely a very good card to have in the deck as well. The second ability is also very interesting because if you keep putting equip gauges from the top of your deck onto your units, at one point you will deck out. So it's good to put equip gauges that are in the drop zone or recycle them. That's definitely a very good thing. You just rest this unit and put your card from the drop zone, which means that you could selectively put a gauge on a unit that you could actually retire with him, and then you could recall that unit. So yes, a very good card. Okay, so we go back and talk about Tachikaze now in general. By them not having really a good boss monster as they got on this deck, they still could fall back on Gigannoblazer or on Gaia. So sure, let's just put this card away. But when we talk about the grade 2 and the grade 1, this is definitely very good. I mean, these two are better than most other grade 1 and grade 2 that we have got for other clans. I mean, how strong is this? But Bushi did not really put effort into creating the grade 3, but they definitely put effort into creating the grade 1 and the grade 2. Even in the art, this art looks really nice. I mean, there's lots of details on it, the color, everything they made is really good. And if you see this in SP, that would still be even more beautiful. The same goes for the grade 2. I'm really a big fan of this art as the way it is just drawn, and it looks a little bit different. As I said, more cartoony into it, which means interesting. So again, the grade 1 and the grade 2 was really well designed, but the grade 3 not so well. Okay, thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, I'm not a big fan of the grade 3, but I'm definitely a big fan of the grade 1 and the grade 2. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think? Is this a good thing for Tachikaze? Did Tachikaze actually need a good grade 3 to put in the deck, or is this good enough? Will this make Gigannoblazer even more playable? Yes, it will. Will people still fall back on Gigannoblazer? Yes, I still think so. Will this also work with Gaia? I think sure it would, because it's also very good. The multi-attacking is nice, the power that Gaia gives is nice, so I like it. Overall, I'm a big fan of the grade 1 and grade 2, not such a big fan of the grade 3. Thank you all for watching, thank you for tuning in on our channel. As I said, comment, like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the next video. Till next time.